Glad to have you here. I want to get into something that often holds people back, yet can be fixed by utilizing certain concepts. Let life be. Now I know what you might be thinking. Sounds a bit cliche, right? But trust me, it's deeper than that. This simple phrase holds mega power to shift your perspective and ultimately, your life. Let's start by setting the scene. Imagine dealing with all the stresses of daily life. Endless deadlines, meetings, personal commitments, and the constant pressure to succeed. It can feel like we're on this relentless hamster wheel. Understand that society conditions us to be in a constant state of hustle, striving for perfection, chasing the next big thing. We often forget that life is not just about the destination, it's also about the journey. That's where let life be comes into play. Turning this phrase into a practice pushes us to process the present moment instead of getting lost in the chaos. When I first stumbled upon this concept, I was in a particularly challenging spot. Work was demanding as hell, and personal responsibilities felt overwhelming. I was burning out. I had this epiphany that maybe I was actually fighting against life's natural flow. Fighting against the ebb and flow of existence can be exhausting, like trying to swim upstream while the current pulls you gently along. I decided to test out this philosophy in my own life. The first step I took was to consciously slow down. Believe me, it's easier said than done. I started taking daily moments when I would just pause. I'd take deep breaths, ground myself in the present, and say, let life be. At first, I felt like I was compelled to fill that moment with productivity, but soon, I began to appreciate just being present with whatever came my way. I noticed more the sound of the leaves rustling, the laughter of kids playing outside, and the beauty of the sky as it transitioned from day to night. Next, I applied this philosophy to my relationships. It was during a conversation with a close friend that I realized how often I was caught in the loop of wanting to change them. My default mode was to offer solutions, to play the role of the fixer. But then I thought, what if I just let them be who they are? What if I just listen? That was revolutionary. The depth of our conversations deepened. They shared openly without feeling judged or fixed, and my perspective expanded. Learning to let go of the need for a perfect outcome or a fixed narrative allowed me to cultivate stronger connections. This practice of let life be also paves the way for acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It simply involves recognizing things as they are without resisting them. Life throws challenges our way, and while we may not always appreciate those moments, acceptance helps to ease the mental strain they can create. For instance, consider a setback at work, a project that didn't pan out well. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, I began asking myself a new question. What can I learn from this situation? Learning to embrace failure instead of avoiding it went a long way towards transforming my career. As I immersed myself in this philosophy, I also kicked self-judgment to the curb. That was a game changer. How many times do we beat ourselves up over decisions, past mistakes, or perceived shortcomings? I started forgiving myself and reminding myself that I'm just a human navigating this complex journey called life. Instead of fighting my imperfections, I embrace them. They make me who I am. This shift lifted a weight off my shoulders, and it was refreshing to experience life without the pressure of being perfect. And then there's the element of gratitude. With Let Life Be, I began to consciously acknowledge the small things, like the satisfaction of a hot cup of coffee on a chilly morning or the joy of a simple chat with a neighbor. These little moments became mini celebrations. Acknowledging these brought forth a profound sense of appreciation. Now, let's talk about the future. It's something many of us rack our brains about. We constantly worry about what's next, how to plan 10 steps ahead, and what the best decision might be. This practice teaches us to kind of let the future unfold, rather than controlling every aspect of it. I stopped stressing over things I couldn't predict. Instead, I focused on nurturing my passions and interests, trusting that things would align as they should. And guess what? They often do. Don't get me wrong, this isn't about abandoning your goals or ambitions. On the contrary, it's about cultivating a mindset of being okay with the uncertainty of the journey. It's about being able to pivot when things don't go according to plan, which, I assure you, is almost always. So, how do we integrate this philosophy into our everyday lives? It begins with mindfulness. Simple practices like meditation, deep breathing, or even mindful walking can lay the groundwork for consciousness. It's all about tuning in and showing up for yourself in the moment. I invite you to try setting aside just a few moments each day to embrace, let life be. You'd be amazed at how quickly the perspective shifts can happen. It might feel uncomfortable at first, as we're so accustomed to constant distraction and stimulation, but over time, it becomes liberating. In summary, the practice of let life be has a unique way of transforming how we experience existence. By cultivating patience, acceptance, gratitude, and the art of letting go, we not only improve our mental well-being, but we also create deeper connections with others and unlock new levels of joy. It allows us to stop and appreciate life's unfolding beauty rather than rushing from one moment to the next. This isn't just a philosophy, it's a lifestyle change. It's an invitation for you to step off the hamster wheel, to breathe, and to fully embrace whatever life throws your way. So let's take on this journey together, and remember, it's all about the ride. Thanks for tuning in.